I think we all found out at the All-Stars game that it was happening.
He's more committed than anyone I've seen. Down here before everyone, first here, last to leave.
It's clicking with everything at training's work and everyone's training hard. It's just get to game day and it's just not happening. But I have a feeling we'll turn around pretty quick.
I definitely think it's prospect. Definitely. Yeah, 100%.
Sometimes most teams go for a blip after winning a grand final, like a hangover of sorts.
I think we've been incredibly unlucky in the first 3 games. I've scored 3 goals, not enough.
I mean, I think this guy's probably the best guy to ask. How many is his brother?
It was definitely in discussions. I would have liked it to happen.
And when we went onto the field and I saw things like Abby matching pace with players like Leah, my jaw dropped to the ground. It was insane.
I think she kept Izzy very, reasonably well maintained. She's probably one of the few players in the comp that'll keep up with Izzy for pace, which kind of helps her a bit.
I can't believe how many she puts away out of the amount of shots she takes.
Is this Marong team capable of winning silverware this year?
100%, yes. We will win it.
Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome back to the Blacktown Premier League podcast. And episode 9 brings you a do or don't get promoted clash on the Saturday night match of the round. My name is Mark DePoli, and then come Sunday, in what is a Hills commentated match of the round, Norwest will face Marong, and will either continue to launch Marong's title bid, or it'll let Holroyd and Kellyville continue to run away with it. It's do or die this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. The games mean a lot. The stakes in round 4 and 5 are already high. So, leave a like if you're excited for the weekend ahead, and let's cue that intro music. Here come Workers on! But it's fallen here towards Icon!
Oh my word.
To find her teammate in Izzy Grant! And now played and struck! And in! People, Ryan Dominici! And further forward now, Tagira!
We're all ready to play, and yeah, we'll go out and smoke it this time.
This is already a 3-interview podcast, so we're going to go straight into the results from last week. A couple of games did happen over the weekend, but the rain did affect more than just one ground. So let's go through what we have to give you. Rouse Hill Rams got a big 2-1 win over Quakers Hill Tigers as they look to keep their pulse on top 4. Marong beat Ropes Crossing in a Blacktown derby that has really set the tone for the difference between the top 4 and those that are not in there just yet. We're really seeing what the quality is like towards the top of the table. 5-1 that final score. And speaking of final scores, I don't even really want to speak about this. Holroyd Rangers beat Kellyville United 14-0. Let's move on. Glenwood versus Blacktown St. Pat's was a washout, but Town Rangers did do the 4-1 over Premier Spurs. Prospect have really kicked themselves into gear since the match around that they featured on. They beat Oakville 4-0, believe it or not. Minchinbury, after their fast start to the season, have not really looked good since then. Park Lee, off the back of going down 2 years ago, last year sort of resurfacing the turf. Now, with a 5-1 win over Minchinbury, they're looking like one of the promotion favourites too. Certainly a top 4 potential team. Newbury did have the bye. How might that affect their momentum? Well, we're yet to see. Into the PL1, there was a washout on Sunday, of course, overnight. Huge amounts of rain. Ponds versus Quakers Juniors called off. Workers went down 5-2, as you already know, of course. You're watching the match with our highlights now. Eastern Creek, they had the bye. Doonside Hawks, thanks to a Byron Green and Mange double, had a 2-0 win over Riverston. And Quakers Hill Tigers and also Polonia had a 2-2 draw. Believe it or not, it was actually a goalless first half before youth product Aaron Blacker got on the score sheet to open it for Tigers. Adrian Letaire equalised before new signing Jackson Fanning got them back in front. Ace Palugadu scoring a goal in first grade, which is great to see from the voice of Blacktown and Sydney beyond. A couple of big results there for both the men's and women's spaces, particularly that top 3 is really starting to establish itself. But what could become interesting in the WPL with those 3 teams who currently have perfect records, as these wet weather days keep coming in and there's interrupted games and then rescheduled games, players might go overseas or players might be unavailable to play on those rescheduled game days, like if it's meant to be played on a Wednesday as a catch-up. Who can make that? Sometimes the answer is not as many players. How might that affect the title race? Could that annoy some people? Might Mother Nature come to decide the premiership? I've spoken too much on this topic already. You know how this goes. But that's the way it is sometimes. And it's going to be very, very interesting. We're now going to chat to the Oakville boys as we head into the match of the round on Saturday night at 7 p.m. And I can actually admit to you, now that the interview has been recorded, I will say this. I was a bit worried about this match around in the sense that were these two teams over the hill in the sense? Did they make the grand final 2 years ago, Oakville, lose it in first grade, then win last year's in reserve grade and sort of just take their foot off the gas? The answer is no. And you're about to see why. And I think we can expect a lot from this point onwards. See you on the other side. What did I write down again? After a fantastic season last year in which there was a reserve grade grand final win, we expected lots of Oakville this year, and with some incoming signings that really turned heads, those expectations ramped up to level 10. After a really good first game showing, it hasn't quite gone their way since, with some big score lines against them. We're here to find out, much like Glenwood, why that is. Now let's go chronologically. First of all, I want to talk to Nathan, who is here, and also Hot Honey Jack Bergman, who's also to my left as well. Boys, thanks very much for joining me here. I do appreciate it. On behalf of Esky, by the way, who was meant to be here, just explain to me, Jack, why did he decide to put the boots back on? I know he was trying to step into the technical area. Why is he now your coach and a player?
We were pretty desperate at the start of the season. No. I think he wasn't going to play, and then I think basically he just missed it. Just got to training, and we had a pretty good squad. I'd say it's probably better than last year's overall. Not the scorelines lately have been showing that, but yeah, I think he just missed it, and he knows we've got a good crew down here this year, so just want to lace them back up, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Nathan, sorry to interrupt you there. Nathan, you're a very experienced player. We're about to learn about that. So give me a quick sort of 20-second recap of your footballing career and what's led you to being back here.
So essentially I started out when it was Super League, so MPL 2 now. At Parramatta Melita, and then made my way over to St George, and then ended the time in MPL 1 at Marconi Stallions. Brought me back here. I had family that play here, so just thought I'd come and join them and get in the mix with them and put the boots back on. Huh?
Excellent. And Jack, I was going to ask this of Meds, but I think you're actually the person who I'd rather ask it to. I want to talk about the Town Rangers game. They were very chirpy after the game, and when we had the opportunity to chat to them, I am going to ask this to them as well. Talk to me about in first grade that game, what it looked like, and has the response afterwards, and the way they sort of treated it as the be all and end all of life. How'd that make you feel?
Well, not good, because I wouldn't say we dominated the game, but we probably had, towards the back end of both halves, we had most of the ball and the possession. Even a few of their boys after full time come up and said, like, probably shouldn't have won that. We lost a bloke within 10-15 minutes straight away, so we were down a player from the start. And then they went on and carried on online, but that's fine. We'll sort that out next game. No dramas.
Excellent. What are you making of Blacktown Premier League so far?
Yeah, it's competitive league, definitely. It wasn't what I expected. A lot harder in the sense of it's a lot more brutal football. Resi's and first grade, there's a big difference in how you actually play football. So with the reserve grade, it's more strength and just smacking each other, and then with first grade it's a lot more technical and playing with the ball and letting the ball do more of the work.
Jack, I want to talk about some of the losses from the squad this year, from last year to this year. There were rumours after our All-Star matches, as you would know, that there were some players that might be leaving Oakville to go elsewhere. It turns out that they were not moving that far away. And I'm sure that's created a bit of a rivalry there. So talk to me about the exit of John. What can you reveal to us about how that went down? And don't worry, we'll ask him when it's his turn as well. But from your side of the story, how did that go?
I think we all found out at the All-Stars game that it was happening. Look, we hold no grudge against John. John's a good bloke. He actually is. Yeah, we play hard against John. We will. Well, we did. Tried to. He couldn't catch him. It was too quick. But no, he's we sort of found out. Pretty devastating because he's a good player. He's a good bloke to have around the group, actually. But I think it's just closer to home for him. Probably turns up to training there because he never did for us. So, but we do miss John.
No Logan Wilkins, no Greg Durrant on recent match sheets, at least in first grade, that is. So can you explain what's going on there?
Logs is suspended. He's back this week. Greg, I think Greg's been playing. Yeah, Greg's been on the squad, yeah.
He wasn't on the first grade squad last.
Oh, he was playing Resi's last week, yeah, sorry. But yeah, a little bit, nickel for him basically. But yeah, Logs has just been suspended for a game. 2. Yeah, 2 got straight red. So, yeah.
But he's back.
He's back this week, yeah.
Excellent, so we get to see him.
Yep.
Now let's talk a bit more future thinking, because there have been 3 losses in a row, and the Prospect one wasn't great. However, it looks like Prospect have turned a new leaf in that sort of sense. A lot to prove this year coming off the back of a relegation season. And we know when we spoke to them, they really were keen to turn it around, and they finally have. Now, that could be an indication of one thing or another, but we want to know where you guys are at and what you're looking like. So there's a 2.5-hour training session occurring right now behind us, which is why we didn't have Esky up here, because he's out there commanding. So, Nathan, you know him personally, is what I'm gathering. So talk to me about his commitment to this role, what you've seen him step up into, and how's he impressing you as a coach?
Yeah, Esky's a great bloke. he's more committed than anyone I've seen. Downie before everyone, first here, last to leave. Takes it a bit personal, so it's such a good thing that he does take it personally. He's there for the individual players, but also the team morale. And he's going to make us better at the end of the year. We're going to be better individuals and better people and a better team, I reckon.
Okay, Jack, so what do you think is happening, or at least has been happening in these last couple of games, as to why St. Pat's have gotten one over you and Town Rangers have gotten one over you and then Prospect put a couple more past you? What do you think has looked like is going wrong?
I think just out the gates, we've just started pretty slow. I think we won all 3 grades in that first round and sort of went and we watched Prospect and Newbury, and I don't know whether we just took the foot off the gas a little bit, but I'm not sure, to be honest. It's just not... It's clicking with everything at training's work and everyone's training hard. It's just get to game day and it's just not happening. But I have a feeling we'll turn around pretty quick. Okay. Yeah, we've got the players here to do that, so it'll happen pretty quick. Yeah,
certainly. Nathan, why are you still in a promotion race? Do you see it as that?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely we're there. It takes a couple of teams to slip up and we're going to pounce. So we're definitely going to be there. At the end of the year, we'll be in the top 2 and we'll definitely be in finals.
For you, definitely in finals is certainly has to be the bare minimum for you guys for a squad this good off the back of the glowing end to the season last year, at least in the reserve grade space, certainly. For you, as someone who players are going to look to for inspiration, for ability on the pitch, do you see that, as of course with the captain's armband around your bicep, what does that mean for you? Is that an honour for you to come into a club straight away and have that put upon you? And do you see it as a task or more of an honour?
It's a bit of both. So it's a task in the way of keeping everyone level-headed and keeping the morale up on the field. It's 90 minutes, it's a long time, but it's also a short time. So we've got to keep the positive there. It is a massive honour as well to be able to lead a whole bunch of boys and be the captain. But I think I'm the right man for the job.
Excellent. Glenwood themselves are in their own sort of predicament. No points to start the season in first grade, and as reigning grand final winners, it's not a great moment for them. I'm classing this podcast as basically a promotion push or bust. This feels like whoever gets 3 points will springboard, potentially, if they use that momentum, and if they don't, well, that might just be it, because it is a short season at the end of the day. So how important do you see it as that? How important is this match for you in order to get the most amount of club championship points and first grade points out of this?
Yeah, I think we have to win, but I don't think it's the be all and end all. But we'll be going out there to win, that's for sure. They'll come out pretty hot, I reckon, too. They always do. Most teams get up for us, so it'll be on. But yeah, no, we're looking to probably take all 12 championship points, but 9 overall. Well, we're not playing 21s, but we'll get resis, and yeah, we're looking for the win.
All right, Nathan, finish this off. I want you to identify probably the biggest threat in terms of who you've watched play, who you've seen. You said you've seen Newbury play. You said you've played up against, of course, Mandurah Town Rangers. What's the biggest threat? We want to hear it from one of the best teams out there. And how do you overcome that as the season goes on?
I definitely think it's Prospect. Definitely. Yeah, 100%. They play as a team. I think we just need to get up for the challenge and start winning those first and second challenges and be a bit more brutal in the midfield, and I think we'll have them covered.
Okay. Excellent. So I might think it's Town Rangers. At the start of the season, I thought it was Oakville. I'm sure Oakville think it's Oakville. Glenwood will think it's them. And also Prospect and Parkley are in the mix now with a couple of big games in there. And of course, you can't forget about St. Pat's. We've got a result here or there up their sleeve as well. It is a fantastic season in Prospect, ignore the pun, as we roll on through the early parts of the season. So much good stuff has already happened. There have been results up and down, left, right and centre. Don't take your eye off the match of the round, 7 p.m. this Sunday. Boys, thanks very much for taking time out of your train station to be here. Really do appreciate it. And good luck this weekend. Do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean now by Oakville are a team to be taken seriously and that they might have just turned a corner? And maybe they haven't turned a corner, but maybe this weekend, if they win, that corner will surface. And you'll see exactly what I mean by that. Good to actually finally meet Nathan White and chat to Hot Honey Jack Bergman. Good to finally meet former NPL representative Nathan White and also Jack Hot Honey Bergman, who is so active on our live socials and is so keenly observant of this comp. And I really appreciate some of his insights. As you saw, I went to him for some of the questions about teams specifically because he knows other teams around this competition so well. Let's go straight into chatting to Glenwood. Are they about to turn a corner? What do they think of themselves? We're about to meet Hoshalumi, by the way, as you saw in the intro. Is he all talk? The answer is no. Enjoy. Glenwood Redbacks may be the reigning grand final winners, but the start of the season has not been a great one for them. The first 3 games of the season have not rendered any points. We don't know why, but we're here today to find out why that is. So let's see what kind of answers we can get out of some of the players. We're here, joined by Ronan Dodge, who's going to answer up first, as well as Benny Inns, an older brother of Ash, Hosh Alumi, to join for the first time as well. Boys, thanks very much for being here. Ronan, straight to you. There have been some big scorelines in these games. There have been some tight ones too. 2 games that have been lost by a 1-goal margin. I just want to ask you, as one of the leaders out of the defence, in goal, of course, what do you think vaguely is going wrong at the moment?
Sometimes most teams go for a blip after winning a grand final, like a hangover of sorts, but we're more than ready to bounce back this weekend and get the 3 points that we rightly deserve for this season.
Hosh, welcome to the podcast, my friend. Finally, good to have you on. It's also a pleasure to meet you and introduce you to the Match of the Round audience who have been eagerly awaiting you to make a Match of the Round appearance. 3 goals to your name in the league alone already. And Ash, your younger brother, told us everything that we need to know and what to expect from you. How does it feel to have so many goals to your name already and be able to contribute to games? And when do you think that first win or those first points might be coming?
Thank you, and hello to everyone. I've scored a couple goals, but full credit to the boys. Without them, I probably wouldn't have had the goals, especially some of the younger boys stepping up. We won the grand final, well, I didn't win the grand final, but the team won the grand final last year, but it has been a different team, and I think that's something that maybe people haven't realised. We've got a lot of youth pushing through, a lot of players in the 21s this year who are starting in the first team and are big players for us. So again, full credit to the boys. I think we've been incredibly unlucky in the first 3 games. Like, for a team to score 8 goals in 3 games and not come away with a single point, that just, I'm sure a lot of other teams would have collected some points if things went their way. I've scored 3 goals, not enough. I'm going for a big total this season with my partner in crime, Ben. So it's going to be a good season. It's only the start of the season, so it's going to be good. Yeah.
Ben, I'll throw to you now. A bit more experience on the podcast, so you know what this is all about. So I'll hit you with the harder questions. 2 4-3s, 2 1-goal games, 2 crazy scorelines, to be fair. You've had a brace in one of those. You've been among the goals already. So in terms of last season to this season, nothing's changed for you, maybe individually. How close were you, if you can think back to those 2 4-3 games? If we could go through both of them sort of towards the end of the game, were you close to getting a point, even more out of those? Were those fair reflections of the performances those days?
Yeah, I definitely think both games could have gone either way. They were really competitive games, back and forth. But I think in the end, just one thing went wrong. And that was the difference in the end, just a mistake or something along those lines just proved the difference. I mean, the first one, we conceded penalties in both games, whatever you want to say about the calls or whatever, but it happens in the end of the day. But yeah, I think we have been unlucky, and I definitely think that those 2 results could have gone either way. That's football, I guess.
Is there a suggestion, perhaps, if I was to go back to one of the answers there, is there a suggestion perhaps that on a different day maybe things might have gone your way and that the performances are there, just the scorelines haven't reflected it yet?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we are playing well. We're trying to fix some holes. We've lost a couple of players from last year, so we're trying to fill those holes. But I mean, we aren't playing bad by any means. It's just a matter of just getting that extra bit of luck to get the result in the end of the day.
Let's talk about that, and maybe with your father being the coach and all of your brothers having played here currently or previously throughout the years, you're the best person to ask for this. What kind of inside scoop can you give us as the reason as to why Ash and Marco left? Marco, we know it was a visa thing, so we cannot really touch on that one, but you've lost a good player to a rival. That's tough. So what can you fill us in for before we end up going to Town Rangers one day in the future for a match of the round and asking him himself? From your perspective, what happened there? And is that, how big of a hole is that?
I mean, I think this guy's probably the best guy to ask. I mean, he's his brother. But I mean, at the end of the day, people move. There's no big deal. There's no hard feelings or anything like that.
Good to know. Hosh, I'll now ask you, why are the 2 Alumi boys not playing on the same team? Whatever team that may be, why is it not the same team?
It was definitely in discussions. I would have liked it to happen. It didn't happen this year, but it will happen eventually. that's for sure. I think Ash, there's no problems between Glenwood and Ash. Ash comes watches our games on a regular basis. There's no issues. He just wanted to go in a different direction. That happens in football. He's doing well this season with Mount Druitt. They've got a good squad. We got him next week, so we're looking forward to that. And just, I guess stuff happens like that, and I'm looking forward to it for sure.
I've heard on your end it was a return from injury from last year, out of the rep space, and here just to, whether it's a confidence thing or a footballing reason or just wanting to look after yourself. I'm not sure what it is, but it's good to have you in our competition. So talk to us, what are your aspirations with this Glenwood team? What's your plan? Is there a long-term look? What's in it for you?
Yeah, so actually it wasn't just 1 year. So I've been out of the game for 4 years actually, with a massive injury. All praise to God, I'm back this year. I've actually only played one 90-minute game. That's something not many people might know. If you look at the stats, first game I didn't even play 40 minutes. I was less than 40 minutes. Second game I played just over half a game. So maybe if I played a little bit more, we would have got different results. But in terms of my aspirations with this club for this season, definitely trying to push for promotion again. Definitely trying to put in my numbers as well. But in terms of the long-term vision, I'm looking for the club for the future. We have a lot of young boys in the club who I'm personally nurturing as well, on and off the pitch, as well as some of the senior boys. I'm actually only 21 as well, so I'm still part of the youth. But that's our aspiration. We're looking for a long-term project here. We're not looking for 1 to 2 years. We did excel last season, probably went way beyond expectations for Glenwood Redbacks, but we're building something special and everyone should watch out because in a couple of years' time we'll be there.
Right, let's wrap this up quickly, Ronan, because I don't want that $3,000 camera to get too much more wet than it already is. Just talk to me about what you'd like to see change this weekend ahead of Oakville. Oakville are a team who you beat last year in the semi-finals. It was a 4-0 thrashing. Last year's grand final push was built on defence. What do you want to see change from last week, or the last couple of weeks to this? Because Oakville themselves need to launch their own title push or their season's going to be over. So what are you looking for to change so that you can get a result?
For sure. Simple answer, score more, concede less. That wins games. However, and just the confidence that we are playing our system well. We know what we're doing. We know how we want to play, and we have confidence in each other and our individuals ourselves. And that's the basis of 3 points at every week, not next week, but for the rest of the season as well.
Embracing all the weather conditions here at Glenwood Reserve. Boys, thanks very much for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Enjoy your training session and good luck on the weekend. Thank you very much. I think, honestly, coming out of that, it's safe to say that Oakville probably sound more confident in their ability. Both teams weren't exactly sure where things had gone wrong, but Oakville were at least able to point at suspensions being the issue. So if they can fix their disciplinary issues, perhaps they'll turn that corner like we've mentioned. But really, even though they said it wasn't do or die, I think it is. And even though he said it wasn't, did that convince me? No. My opinion is that this really needs to be the turning point because, as we've mentioned, St. Pat's are up there. 10 Rangers are up there. Newbury are up there. And Newbury, by the way, I should have mentioned when I was talking to them about the title contenders. Right, we're now going to switch our focus to the Norwest versus Marong game, which is a Hills commentator game, so I won't be on the mic this weekend, unfortunately. However, best of luck to the Marong girls as they look to keep their streak going. We finally got the chance to speak to a 19-year-old who is one of the contenders in the early parts of the season for the Player of the Year. What does she think about her chances of that award, or maybe even a Golden Boot as well? Are Marong serious title contenders? I asked them all these questions. I'll see you on the other side. The last time that we spoke to this club, they were one of 4 teams at the top. And after their match of the round they most recently featured in, they're one of 3 teams at the top. We're going to go straight to Anna Ward-Suarez, who was key in the midfield of the game against Quakers Juniors. How did it feel, generally, just to emerge victorious against a team that probably forgot how to lose, and you took it to them?
It was quite glorious. I was probably the only one in the team who went into the game thinking pessimistically, but after speaking to everyone and hearing their optimism, I was like, okay. And when we went onto the field and I saw things like Abby matching pace with players like Leah, my jaw dropped to the ground. It was insane. And to take it home at the end, especially coming back twice, after they went on top of us, it was amazing feeling.
We will chat about belief and what that might just kickstart a little bit later. Bella, I'm going to go to you. Usually you're number 9. You were preferred as the 10 in that game. And from what Naji told me, is that your job was to nullify their 6. And you really shut her down, and she's one of the better players in the comp. How do you feel with being tasked with that job, and do you feel like you did a good job? Because I think you did.
Honestly, I was a bit nervous because it was my first time playing in that position all season. So I felt a little bit lost at times, but from what I spoke to Najee about after the game, he seemed like he was happy. I did my job. Just getting used to being in that role now and supporting Abby up front. But I think it's working really well.
Abby McCall, I'm going to go to you. There have been glowing reports about the Marong performance as a whole, but I think in terms of potentially one standout, your name has come out of that pot quite a lot from viewers who are usually quite quiet about match of their own individuals. So that's something to be proud of. Your goal was special. Your second involvement in the third goal was very, very special, but we'll get to that in a sec. First and foremost, the opening question is, what are you doing in the NPL, not in the NPL, and in the WPL instead?
Basically, I wasn't enjoying football when I was playing in NPL. I was with teams that couldn't give me the ball like I needed to score. So I've moved here because I saw the reviews were good for Marong. I saw it was a very good like club. And yeah, just wanted to bring my happiness back to play.
Certainly a lot of happiness could come from a goal and an assist. I want to talk specifically about the assist. The touch initially, then the touch into space, and then the cross is brilliant, and it leads to the winner. Then you guys held on defensively. It's that kind of spatial awareness that makes the difference at the top end in this comp. It's the reason why Holroyd are up front, up two. It's the reason why Parkley have been so good in years gone by to keep it closer to home. It's the reason why Kellyville were champions last year. Maybe that kind of difference will come from players like you and the players around you tonight. Can we expect more of that from you this season? Because you backed it up with 4 goals on the weekend.
Well, I couldn't beat that defender that we versed at the match of the round. She was a crazy player. The only way I knew I could get around her was trying to turn her because, look, she had me for speed every day of the week. So, I'm not sure.
You're on pace. I reckon you're on pace.
We're getting there. We're getting faster each week.
Seriously.
But yeah, I'm getting all the balls I need. I've got Bella up there with me, so she presses non-stop. So having that constant pressure on the defence obviously opens up the game for us.
Now, what I'm hearing, and I'm sure you're picking up on this as well, is team. It's a humble approach, even though these players know what they're capable of, as well as your two last week as well. Let's talk about one of them now, and both of those sisters, so Ainsley and Scarlett as well. First of all, she got the player of the match playing as the 6, but Scarlett in particular might have just laid the blueprint for shutting down last year's player of the year. A quick word on Ainsley first, but let's focus in on Scarlett a little bit to give her the flowers she deserves.
I mean, she showed what she's capable of on that match of the round. She's come to us as a defender. I've asked her to move up. Defensively we're pretty set. She wanted to play a more open game than what she has in the past. So I've asked her to move up into the 6 role, and the way her, Anna, or her and Paige, or whoever she's with up top, she gets that freedom, because if she ever needs to make that run, Anna will drop in and cover, or Paige will drop in and cover. So she's really enjoying the freedom. But as a player, in terms of winning those important balls, whether it's in the air, whether it's on the ground, she's absolutely unbelievable. She's absolutely killing it as a 6, which is if you're going to play an attacking football where you're going to push further up the pitch, there's always going to be counters, there's always going to be gaps left behind when you go for that big push. And to have someone like that sitting deep, it just puts everybody's mind at ease that if for some reason we lose the ball in a big attack, Ainsley and the back 4 are back there to clean it all up. And Scarlett, to be honest, I don't even know what to say about Scarlett. She came to us as as Ainsley's younger sister. That's all we knew about her. She played at a reasonably low level last year just to play with some friends. And then after, just in the pre-season tournament, after seeing what she's capable of in the back line, as soon as this game came up and I knew that, their biggest threat, without Marion being there, their biggest threat was going to be Izzy, there was no doubt in my mind that was Scarlett's job, and I think she done a brilliant job. I think she kept Izzy very, reasonably well maintained. She's probably one of the few players in the comp that'll keep up with Izzy for pace, which kind of helps her a bit. And her ability to know when to jump in, when to hold off, when to win the ball, for somebody that young is just amazing.
And I'm going to go to you. I've noticed straight away that your awareness of who the other teams are and their individual players is pretty good. So I'm going to throw some questions at you. You have a match on this weekend against a team who have struggled a little bit, finally got their first win pretty recently. But I just want to talk about the ropes game, because you went down by 1 and then proceeded to score 5 unanswered goals from there. So considering what you guys have proven so far, you've had narrow wins, you've had smashings as well. When you went down 1-0 against Ropes, did you feel like, yes, we can make a comeback here? Did it almost feel inevitable in a way?
Actually, for sure, yeah. There's been a lot of games where we've gone down early or just conceded goals that we shouldn't have scored, but conceded, not scored. But no, like the amount of times we've come back from that. I'm sorry, I'm going to put it on Abby. She's such a critical player in front of goal. It's insane, and she doesn't drop her head. So it is still a team effort. Like, especially with players like Ainsley as well in the midfield, and Tiana, Abby, all of our new actually people that have come in. But once we go down, like everyone's like, oh, actually, yeah, we do need to play today. So they all switch on and then we all come back, and it's really like amazing to watch, because I've never actually played in a team that can like keep their heads up after coming down like that. Like, everyone knows what they're capable of. Everyone wants to work for each other in this team, which is a really amazing, because I haven't played for a lot of teams like that. And I've never played with a striker so critical in front of goal. Like, I can't believe how many she puts away out of the amount of shots she takes. So it's good to know, like, that we can play it up front. We got Bella as well. We got so much speed up front, and they press and everything. Like, for us to go down in a game like that, yeah, it didn't worry anyone, I feel like. No offense, Ropes, but...
You're a Barcelona fan as well, so I know that you believe in comebacks, certainly, especially after the last 4 weeks or so. In terms of, I've mentioned blueprint, but in terms of a blueprint of how games should go for you guys for the next, or the rest of the season, the fact that you've proven now a couple of times that you can make a comeback, what does the belief feel like? Because I get the feeling that as a remaining player from last year to this, there's been a jump up for you individually and personally in terms of what you think this team can do. So does that ring a bell?
Yeah, for sure. Like, compared to last year, honestly, I was like, all right, I'll just have fun now, because like halfway through the season, I was like, all right, if this is what it's going to be like, well, I'll just come for fun. But to see it's been a drastic change, like the way the team's come up from last year. So, like, biggest difference between last year and this year, you're absolutely right. Like, players show up to training this year. We have not missed a lot of training sessions. Like, everyone shows up. Game day, everyone shows up.
Bella, I'm going to come to you. This match of the round, we probably should focus on it a little bit coming up. It's a chance to feature, again, a chance to put another a marker down to the other teams watching you girls, and everyone knows now how good you are and what you're capable of. Norwest are a team that have struggled, as we mentioned. Do you treat this as a routine game, or is it a banana skin potentially?
No, I don't think we should treat any game like that. We go into all our games in the same headspace. We're there to win, as everyone is, but every team is as competitive as each other. We haven't played them this year yet. Reflecting on last year, we had a slower start to the year, and then halfway through we made a bit of a comeback, so you never know. But yeah, I think it'll be a good game. Versing a new team. Be exciting.
Abby, finish us off. Obviously, you have your own personal aspirations, I'm sure, after bagging a poker, 4 goals. First of all, Golden Boot, is that in your sights? And do you think, and we want to hear it from you, is this Marong team capable of winning silverware this year?
100%, yes. We will win it if we all put our heads in the right position and like sort everything out, because we've had a few little mishaps from games before where we haven't gone into a game with our heads on right. So I reckon if we continue that and we keep everything calm and obviously have our head space in the right space, we can get it done.
And Golden Boot for you?
Look, I'm getting all the balls to my feet. We'll see what happens. We're not sure yet. It's a big statement.
Media trained answers already here at Marong. Great to know that there's probably a chance for you guys to even get to another gear, maybe into a 6th. There's definitely a belief that's grown here from last to this, and even the year prior in its first year. What you guys are doing is magical, and it's really good to see. So thank you very much, Naji, and to Anna, and to Abby, and to Bella, and to Talia standing behind the camera. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah, I believe them. I think I really do believe them. This Marong team is a really, really good team, and it's good to know that. Well, maybe it's not good to know, but at least it's interesting to hear that some of those players that were there last year or even the year prior and have stuck around, they didn't know if this was going to be a serious season, and it has panned out to be exactly that. These NPL-based girls, or former NPL-based girls, have come in and have changed proceedings entirely. Right, we're going to look at some fixtures now as we go ahead and to wrap out the episode as well. I don't have the chance to actually put in the graphics, so forgive me, so you have to just listen to this voice as I tell you what's coming up. My apologies for that. Weather prevailing, Quakers Hill Juniors take on Kellyville in what is probably the match of the round. Marong, as you know, in the actual match of the round have Norwest away. Ponds versus Holroyd, and what you would expect would be one where Holroyd continue on improving their goal difference. Parkley versus Rouse Hill Rams both picked up wins last week over two teams that you'd expect them both to win over respectively. Now they face each other. This is really key for that top 4 battle. Quakers and Kellyville could play out an interesting match. Kellyville United, that is. Ropes Crossing and Castle Hill will be much like the Rams and Parkley game in that it is a game where they'll be both hoping to put some points on each other in order to get into that top 4. Couple of Tuesday night fixtures as well. Norwest will go to Quakers Juniors and Kellyville will go away to Ponds. PL2 fixtures puts some Pats with the bye. Newbury take on Minchinbury. Minchinbury really need to get some points. We're seeing how Newbury will react after being off of the bye and having those interrupted weeks due to Anzac and Easter. And rain. And all of the above. Parkley have Spurs. Prospect and Town Rangers could possibly be one of the matches of the season, considering how both of those teams are playing at the moment. And of course, 7 PM at Blacktown Football Park is Oakville versus Glenwood. Workers v Dooney, and as you know from last week's match of the round, Workers really need to bring their A game. Quakers Hill Tigers will play their old rivals in Eastern Creek. Juniors host Marong. There was 10 goals between these two last time they played, which was last year. We'll see how they go this time. And it's Riverston that have the bye. On Sunday, again, Ponds will play Polonia. It's now 3 Sunday games Ponds have had. Interesting. That is all we have time for this week on the Blacktown Premier League podcast. Thank you so much for being here for another 30, 40, 60 minutes, or whatever this turns out to be. Thank you so much to our interviewees who braved the wet, the rain, the cold, and all that as we head towards the winter months. I really do appreciate it. If you like the way Oakville and Glenwood and Marong especially spoke this week, please don't forget to leave a like. We've been absolutely smashing everything in the last couple of weeks, but just to be perfectly honest, our views have gone away slightly. So keep those likes nice and high, keep the views coming in, share it to your friends, share it to your mum, share it to your gran, share it to your dog, your cat, your fish, your turtle, and all of the above. And also, while you're there, cue the outro music. But it's falling here towards Icon!
Oh my word.
And now played and struck and in! Further forward now, Tangira! Ryan Dominici! Wants a second goal. Isabel Greb should have a second goal! And finishes with ease!